Hello lovely simmers, SimsEclaire here and welcome back to my channel. For today's video we are doing another save file build and we are actually coming up to the end of this save file, or at least this part of it, the Oasis Springs neighborhood. We only have 2 builds left after this one, so I'm super excited about that. That means the last video for Oasis Springs will be going up on Monday because that's currently my video schedule. So I hope you guys are excited to finish off Oasis Springs and then move on to one of the other worlds. I think I'm going to do the 3 base game worlds first, so we'll probably do Willow Creek after this one, or maybe Newcrest. But for this home, I wanted it to be a little bit larger, so I did have this extra large lot after I changed around where I was placing all of my different neighborhoods and stuff like that to fit the world of Oasis Springs a little bit better. And it kind of worked out in my favor because the story for this sim is that she is a famous comedian. She's a single mother. She used to live in Del Sol Valley, but when she realized that she was pregnant and she wanted to raise her kid, she didn't really want to raise them in a big city because she wasn't raised in a big city, so she wanted to kind of go somewhere where it was a little bit more suburban, a little bit more laid back. So she was already at the peak of her career. She was getting ready to start doing less live shows and more movies and more chill things, so she realized she'd have enough time, so she decided she was going to go ahead and build a home in the new development of Oasis Springs. And if you guys know, the Landgrab's eldest son, Johnny Zest, is actually an aspiring comedian, so I did think that she was probably training him, he was paying to have her coach him, or maybe they were friends, or maybe a little bit more than friends, and so she was kind of trying to help him with his career because they were hanging out a lot and they were very sociable with each other. So that was kind of my thinking. And her daughter is a kid. I did decorate the room for a kid, but obviously you could easily switch out the bed for a toddler bed or for a a double bed if you would prefer a different age style or a different age group. But yeah, that was my thinking. And a little bit more into her backstory, I definitely thought, well, when I initially didn't think this, but when I started doing the landscaping, I went with really bright and colorful jungle adventure plants, and so a part of me thought that maybe she had originally been born in El Salvadorada and she had kind of had her childhood there, and then her parents moved to Del Sol Valley to look for work and to kind of just, get a better life or something. So she started in El Salvadorada and then moved to Del Sol Valley, and that's why she wanted to raise her kid here in Oasis Springs. She has still her roots from her small town in El Salvadorada, and she just wanted her kid to be raised in a very similar situation. So that's kind of what I was thinking. You'll realize when I do the landscaping why, because the landscaping in Oasis Springs on these desert lots is very barren and very rocky and stuff like that, but I went with colorful jungle adventure plants, overgrown palms, overgrown leaves and stuff like that. So I definitely thought that she had probably, paid to have some special landscaping done so that way she could have some plants that reminded her of home. But right now we are just placing the windows, and as you can see, this lot is huge. So you guys won't actually see me decorate every room of this build. I'm only showing you guys the important ones because as of right now I still haven't actually finished furnishing this build because I don't know what I want all the rooms to be. Right now I have 2 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and then living, dining, kitchen obviously, and that's what you'll see in this video. Oh, and her office, so her comedy office, and that's what you'll see in this video. And then besides that, all of the rooms are empty because I don't know what to put in them. I know one of them is going to be a garage storage type of room because it's right next to the pool, so I figured that that could be where she keeps all the pool equipment and stuff like that. And then one of them is probably going to end up being a library because I definitely thought that she was well read and maybe she wanted her daughter to be well read. And then I also have plans to do a kids playroom, but like I said, as of right now I haven't actually finished furnishing this house because I was running a little low on time this week. I had to work a couple of extra hours than what I usually do, so instead of making this video 40 minutes long, because as you can tell it's already 18 minutes and 22 seconds with me not furnishing the entire house, instead of making this video like 40 minutes long, furnishing the entire house and risking me not being able to get out as many videos this week as I'm used to, I decided to just only show you guys the important rooms of the house, and then maybe I'll share some pictures, or in another video I'll tell you guys what I end up putting in the other rooms when I do finally finish furnishing them. But don't worry, it will be fully furnished for when I put it on the gallery and when you guys download the save file. But right now we are finishing up the landscaping, so as you can see, I did use all the bright green colorful plants from Jungle Adventure, and I'm just adding a couple of detail pieces. This right here is the chimney. Now there is no fireplace on this side of the house, but that was the best place for me to put the chimney, so I decided that it would be okay. I mean, I feel like modern days, I don't know. I know that the chimney technically has to be above the fireplace, but it's The Sims, so we can just pretend. But going on to the inside, this is the entryway area, and this door to, like, right in front of us, not the one outside, but the one on that far wall next to the mirror, that is the door that's going to lead into the garage that I haven't furnished yet, just so you guys can kind of get a feel for, you know, the floor plan where everything is. And then this here is the back door that leads out to the pool, and I'm using these Get Famous wall decorations because, like I said, I did think that she had lived in Del Sol Valley, so I wanted to kind of bring in some objects from Get Famous, which is the world the pack that we got that world in, to kind of tie it all together. And I'm not sure if you guys could tell right there, but I did something a little different with my floor planning. For a lot of these builds, I've done like completely open floor planning or mostly open floor planning, but for this one, I actually added a really long hallway. And I did that to A, to keep the rooms from being too big, but B, to kind of try out some different floor plans and everything. I mean, everything is still in a row, and you can kind of tell that the dining room is open to the living room and the dining room is open to the kitchen, but there's the closed off hallway, so that way it's not all open to the rest of the house. And I thought that kind of fit, because if she's entertaining, she wouldn't want everyone to be able to just go willy-nilly all over her home. She'd want them to all stay in the same place and everything, so I thought that that was kind of a nice way to do it. And then over here, this is the living area. So again, I'm bringing in the Get Famous furniture, and then I'm also merging it or mixing it with some eco lifestyle furniture. And I'm using these chairs from City Living. I don't use them that often. I think I use them in the gamer's house, but they're like these, I want to say they're technically plastic, but they almost look like wood, and they have different colors and like a geometric pattern on it, and they match the colors I was using here in this living room. And I thought that it was kind of cool if she just had these like random mismatched chairs. Like maybe she had gotten them from like an auction house, like maybe they're like really famous designer like artwork chairs or something like that from when she lived in Del Sol Valley. So that was kind of my thinking. And then I also imagined this family having a cat, maybe two. There are 2 pet beds in this build, but I definitely thought at least 1. So technically the household would be the mom, the daughter, and the cat, or 2 cats. So there's a couple of cat items around. I have not placed a litter box yet because I was going to place it in the garage room thing where they have all their extra space and their storage and everything like that. So that's why you won't see me place it in this video, but I promise when I put it on the gallery there will be a cat litter box. And then I also, over here, am just placing some bookshelves. I initially was going to do as I said earlier, I was going to do a library, but since I didn't furnish it in this video, I figured it would be okay if I went ahead and added a whole bunch of bookshelves here anyway. And I'm just filling them up with some clutter. Sorry, my speech is awful today. But then over here, I'm going to get rid of one of these archways and place a piano. I thought that maybe she knew a little bit of music. I mean, living in Del Sol Valley, I'm sure she kind of, like her manager or something told her she had to do a lot of different things, like make sure she knew different things. And then also, not to mention, in the actual entertainer career, which is where you can get to the comedian career, in The Sims 4, you actually have to know instruments. You have to know the guitar and the piano. Or I think it's the guitar or the violin and then the piano before you can branch off into either musician or comedian. So I definitely thought she'd have some skill in some instruments. I put the piano down here, and then upstairs in her office there is a guitar. And then in here, this is the dining space. It's a rather large dining space. I used the table from what's that, the fitness pack? I think it might even just be called the fitness stuff pack, but I used that table mixed with these chairs from Tiny Living. I always forget that these chairs are there. Now that I said it, I don't even know if they're from Tiny Living. They have the same wood tones as Tiny Living, so I feel like they are, but I don't know what they would have gone with, because we didn't get a dining table with tiny living that is low to the ground. The only dining table I remember us getting is a high top. So now I'm trying to think, if I mess that up, let me know in the comments down below. If that's not from tiny living, inform me of my mistake, because now I'm curious. I mean, I can always go back into my game and figure it out, but let me know if you guys figure it out before I do. But in here we are using the country kitchen kit. I initially wasn't going to, because it doesn't necessarily match the theme of this house, but I liked how the black wood looked. I thought that that was a nice like added touch, kind of bringing in all the dark tones, because it has the dark wood tones that I've been using through the rest of the house in the cabinetry. So I thought that it would be like a nice added touch, bring in some of the dark tones into this kitchen, and it also matched the floor that I was using really well. So I hope you guys don't mind, but because it is, like I said, it doesn't necessarily match the modern theme that I usually go for with these builds, but I thought that it was nice. And with the theme, or with the style of her coming from El Salvadorada, maybe she isn't necessarily as into modern as everyone else is, so that could be another reason why this is like this. But now we're just cluttering up the counters a little bit. There is quite a bit of usable counter space, because I didn't clutter up any of the counters in front of the window. So those two counters right there, not the one right next to the stove, but the other two, are perfectly empty for your sim to cook with. And then over here I had some extra space, and since there was so much room at the dining table, I didn't want to do another like second dining room, so I did decide just to do a little bench section over here with a picture and a plant, and then some clutter decorations. And I made sure I kept the clutter decorations like kitchen clutter, so it's like a cereal box and some spices and stuff, just to make sure it, you know, fit with the room that we were in. And the table that I'm using is from the Nifty Knitting Kit. I just took it and spun it around so that way you couldn't see the holes or like the doors on the front of it. But in here is the office, so I decided to face the desk outward in case she had like clients or something in here, or when Johnny Zest came over, they could sit in here and they could talk over her desk. And I did want to make sure she had a computer, not because she's a gamer, but because for the comedian career you can write jokes on a computer, so I wanted to make sure she had one of those. And then over here is like her little performance practicing area, so she has her microphone. I'm gonna give her a guitar. I do end up putting a rug in here at the end of like the build, because I thought it just needed a little bit more of something. And then I also put a plant over in the left hand corner, but right now I'm placing some of these movie posters up. I thought maybe these were some of her newest movies that were coming out or had just been released, because it's some of the posters that Johnny Zest had, and I thought maybe she was his idol, so it kind of played off the fact that they're, you know, she's training him to, you know, do what she did. And then over here is actually the master bedroom. Now I had this weird L shape for it, so I decided to add in a little bit of a lounge area with the cat tree, so that way in case, I don't know, she wasn't feeling well, or maybe she was just having an off day and like her kid was at school, she could just come sit in here and chill in her bedroom. And then in here is well, it's still the bedroom, but over here is the bed. So I used the Get Famous bed, but I merged it into the wall and then used the Snowy Escape couch as the headboard, so that way I could have like the yellow tones of the Get Famous bed, but I could have the cushion for the headboard. And I have never done this before, but I really like how it ended up looking, so I'm going to try some different color combinations with it as well to see how many I can get out of it, because I think that looks like a really nice bed. Like, I would be happy with that bed. And then over here is where I'm going to put the mirror. So you saw the dresser and everything. I didn't have enough space over there for the mirror, so I did decide just to do like a little mirror corner with a picture and a plant and a chair in case like she was getting ready and she needed to put her shoes on or something. And then we're about to go into her ensuite bathroom. So she has an ensuite and so does the kid. So upstairs is 2 bathrooms, then we have the downstairs one that you saw me decorate earlier, and I'll probably add one more on the other side of the house when I decide what I'm going to be putting over there. So that way there is, you know, bathrooms on every side of the house. But we're using the season stuff for the bathroom because I thought it matched the tile that I was using on the floor from the Jungle Adventure pack the most. And I'm also going to merge these seasons like cabinets with this laundry day shelf thing. There is no laundry room yet, but that is one of the planned rooms, so that's why I put a laundry basket in there. and I figured that A, that would give me another room to fill up space in this house with, but also B, it kind of just filled in the area in the bathroom, that since it was a huge bathroom. And then in here is the kids' room. So I definitely thought that she was a little bit of a younger kid. She wasn't quite, you know, a preteen or anything yet, but she was really into school, so I gave her this desk, but I also gave her some arts and crafts boxes and stuff like that because I thought she was probably very artistic, you know, a little creative like her mom is. I gave her a little reading nook, and like I said, I am planning on doing like a kids playroom for her, so I didn't put too many toys in here. I did put the void critter thing because it fits very nicely in the middle of a room. And then I also gave her some school projects that she can work on, and then the kids bed, or the cat bed is in here as well, or one of the cat beds is in here. And then for her ensuite, it's very simple. It's very similar to her mother's. It's the same furniture and everything. I just added a couple pops of color, so I used like purple towels, and I'm using these white and pink cabinets, and then I also give her a pink laundry basket. And then down here is the outside. It's super simple, super easy. There's a couple of couches and a couple of lawn chairs, but besides that, that is it for this build. So I hope you all enjoyed this one. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all next time. Bye!